This is a video on surface area. So if we have a three-dimensional shape like this, so this is a rectangular prism. Surface area is the area of each side of that rectangular prism. So see how there's like 6 sides of a rectangular prism? We have this front piece right here that you can see. This front piece. So if I'm just gonna take that off. I'll put it right here. This front piece is, the dimensions of it are 5 centimeters by, the height is 2. And I actually have 2 of those pieces. See, I have one at the back also. So I've got 2 of those pieces, 5 by 2. Okay, I'm gonna use another color. I also have these side pieces for my box. This one, and then this one's identical to it. And those side pieces are 3 centimeters by 2 centimeters, so 3 by 2, and I've got 2 of those. And finally, I have the top piece right here and the bottom piece. That will be the same size. And the top piece looks like it's 5 centimeters by 3 centimeters. So the top and the bottom rectangle, 5 by 3. This is not drawn a scale, 5 by 3. So those are my 6 sides of my rectangular prism. So you can see surface area is about calculating the area of each side of your shape. So if we want to define the surface area of this rectangular prism, we would just find the area of each side. So area of a rectangle is just length times width, so 5 times 2 would be 10. So this one would be 10 as well. 5 by 3, so this one would be 15. 3 by 2, so this one would be 6. So now we found the area of each side, and we just add them up. So the total area will be, those will add up to 30, 40, 50, 62. So our total area would be 62 centimeters squared. Yes, you can do this for any three-dimensional shape. You can just break it apart and find the area of each side. Or, just reminding you guys, you do have a whole bunch of surface area formulas that you're welcome to use as well. So usually we use like SA for short form. So the surface area formula that's on your measurement sheet is written like this for a rectangular prism. 2 bracket, I don't know the order, but it's something like length times width plus length times height plus width times height. So you can see that formula would save you a little bit of time because it knows that you actually have 2 of each side. So length times width, so you pick something to be your length and something to be your width, and then we'll call that height. So length times width would be 15 because 5 times 3. Length times height, so 5 times 2 would be 10. And width times height would be 3 times 2, which is 6. So same thing we just did. 15 plus 10 plus 6 will be 31. And then 2 times 31 is 62. So there are formulas for every single three-dimensional shape that you'll see in grade 9. And they're written like this. And you just substitute the dimensions into the formula and it calculates it for you. But I just wanted to let you know that, no matter what your shape, you're just finding the area of each side of it. Okay, let's try a cylinder. So we could predict the formula for the cylinder without even looking at our formula sheet, because we know we've got 2 circles, a top and a bottom. So remember, surface area, we're finding the area of each side of the shape. So for our 2 circles, so we've got 2 of them. So we know the formula for a circle, the area is pi r squared. And since we have 2 circles, we would say 2 pi r squared since we have 2 of them. So that's for the top and the bottom of the cylinder. Then if you didn't already know this, the middle section, sometimes called the lateral surface of the cylinder, if you were to roll that out or open it up, it would actually just be a rectangle. So we already know the height of the rectangle is 15. Let's just call it height for now. And we could call the length of the rectangle the same as the circumference of the circle, because this is the length of the rectangle, and it would be the same as the circumference of the circle. So we know circumference of a circle is 2 times pi times radius. So we know now that the formula for the surface area of a cylinder would just be 2 pi r squared plus, to find the area of this rectangle, we just do length times width, which is 2 pi r times h. So 2 pi r h. So that is the surface area of a cylinder. So even though you have a list of formulas for a surface area, it's good to know like where they come from and what they mean, especially with the cylinder. It's good to know that that represents the 2 circles. And it's good to know that this represents what's called the lateral surface, or that rectangle in the middle. Because sometimes you'll get a question that will say, find the surface area of the cylinder without the top. Maybe it'll be like a glass that you're drinking out of. Here's your glass. Horribly drawn. Okay, there's your glass, and it's full of water. There's a whole bunch of water in here. Okay, that doesn't matter. But let's just say your glass is open at the top. There's no lid. And they want to know, like, how much material did they take to make this glass? So you're going to want to calculate that using surface area, but you don't want to count this top. So you have to eliminate one of the circles. So you should be able to manipulate the surface area formulas, not just blindly like look at them and sub numbers into them. Okay, so to calculate this glass, no, just kidding. Okay, let's do this one first. To calculate the surface area of this whole cylinder, like the whole deal, the surface area of that guy, whoops, we would do 2 times pi times 6 squared plus 2 times pi times 6 times 15. And we just do the math. I actually don't have a calculator, so I'm not gonna do it. But if we wanted to calculate the surface area of this guy that didn't have a top on it, it would be nearly the same, but we would go pi times 6 squared plus 2 times pi times 6 times 15, assuming it had the exact same dimensions as the one we just did. See how we omitted that 2 from the circle formula? Because now we only have one circle at the bottom that we're counting. Okay, so that's an example of how to find surface area for a rectangular prism and a cylinder. But there's a whole bunch more shapes that you should become familiar with. So you should be able to find the surface area of a cone. So check that formula out because it's different. You should be able to find the surface area of a triangular prism, which I think you could probably figure out without looking at the formula. Because you know that a triangular prism is made up of a triangle on the front and the back. And then it's got 3 rectangles. What else do we have? We have a square-based pyramid. So a square-based pyramid, to find the surface area, you've got a square on the bottom, and then you've got 4 triangles. Like this guy, that guy, yeah, 4 triangles. What other shapes do we do? I'm blanking, but that might be all of them. Okay, so that's how you find surface area. Just find the area of each side of the shape.